In this video, we will see how to create a layout for our background. And in the end, we will create a slide with those templates. Now I create a layout, again via the plus here, or the top right via the new button. Again, I will be forwarded to the editor, but first a query appears which background I want to use. I select my background and set it. The linked backgrounds can be changed at any time by clicking on the corresponding background here. If I select multiple backgrounds here, I can choose between the backgrounds when creating a slide with this layout. In the layout editor, the same options are available as in the background template, except that here we have some additional options. For example, in the toolbar, we have more options than earlier in the background. With the Media section tool, I can create an area in which all media types are allowed. The same applies to the Text section tool. In an area created with the Universal section tool, all content types are allowed. However, all these areas can still be customized. This is actually just a default setting. To be able to align everything a bit finer, we can again set the grid to a multiple of 16:9. This setting is then saved for the template, and when I open it again, the grid will be the same as now. Now we customize each area and choose what should be allowed later in the slide. To do this, click on the three dots within the area or on the gear symbol at the top. The content types can then be switched on or off here on the left. Depending on my settings here, the options for this area in the slide will change. According to what is chosen on the left, additional options for the respective content types appear on the right. For example, for text, you can set which text editing options should be available in the slide, or for media, which media types may be used. At the very top, there are buttons to allow the area to be used as a link and to allow this section to be animated. This means that the user can then choose in the slide that this section is only displayed during the presentation when Next is clicked again. This is therefore a delayed appearance. All other animations are defined here in the template, such as appearing animations or hover effects. Below this, there are the options for text. Here, for example, you can allow different styles to be used for headings. These are predefined in the configurations. Here, they are only activated for this area. Here, the area can be marked as a header. This means that the text in the section will be suggested as a slide title as long as none is entered. Below that, you can allow whether the font color can be changed in the slide. Here you have the option to allow all colors or to allow the predefined colors of the tool. These are the colors that can be fixed for this presono platform in the settings in the configurations, so that the color codes do not have to be entered again every time the color is needed. If you click on the plus next to it, you can add a new individual color here, for example, black or white. The allowed colors will appear here. When you click them, you can either edit or even delete them again. For media, you can control whether images, videos, image galleries, object viewers, PDFs, or media journeys are allowed. Tables can be allowed here. There are also iframes. Via iframes, external websites can be integrated and thus displayed during the presentation. The only condition for this is that the integrated page allows this integration. Web contents are excluded from offline use. As before in the background, the position, size and alignment can also be adjusted up here. The options for background and frames are also identical. Almost all values are given in percentage, so that all slides can be scaled to any size. This button here on the left determines whether the content should be limited by the frame later in the slide or whether it is allowed to overhang. For example, if too much text is inserted into the area, this option will either cut it off or allow it to go beyond the area. In addition to the options in the background template, I have the option to format the text, which will be inserted later here. The font styles, as well as the size, color and various distances and alignments can be set. Again, I can link the area. This means that every slide that is created with this layout already has that link. Below the link button is the gear icon, where you can set the allowed content for this area. Alternatively, you can also click on the 3 dots within the area itself. If no type of content is allowed here, the area is a design section. It will also appear in the section list, but cannot be filled with content in the slide. This is often used for lines or other design elements. These settings can only be done for one section at a time. All other settings, like size, position, or text options, can be made for several areas at the same time. To do this, select the areas in the list or the canvas with the Control key pressed or drag your mouse over the corresponding areas. For example, you can distribute several similar areas regularly over the slide by using the positioning options above. In order to be able to see, for example, what the text will look like in the slide, there is dummy content. Depending on the settings in the configurations, this can also be transferred to the slide. To do this, click on the ghost symbol on the right. There you will find exactly the settings that will also be available later in the slide for this area. You can switch between dummy content and template options either by using the tools on the right or by double-clicking. With the ghost symbol here on the right, the entire dummy content in this template can be deleted at once. At the bottom right, we find the section list. I can delete, duplicate or group sections. The sections can be moved around by drag and drop, and they can also be named. This naming will also appear in the section list in the slide. For example, it can help to title the headline as such. We'll draw a new text section now and duplicate it. When you duplicate a section, it will be at the exact same position as the current one. You can now move it with the selection tool. Delete your section with the Remove button on your keyboard or the trash can here on the right-hand side. To create a group, click on the folder icon and then drag the respective sections into the group. Groups can also be named. Groups can then be used to animate multiple sections together, for example. We will now check all the settings again by clicking on each individual area and opening the options. Only text may be inserted in these two areas, and images, video galleries and PDFs may be inserted in the media on the right. Fonts should be set at the headline and in the text area. At the end, I click on Save and give it a title. When saving the layout, there is a small difference to saving the background earlier. I have to choose between different layout types. These can be used later for filtering when creating a slide. When I'm back in the template set, I see that I already have a background and a layout. On the left, I also see the filters for the layouts again. From now on, I could create a slide with this set. This can be done either in a presentation, in the content structure, or right here in the set. The template set is already pre-selected here, and I can see my created layout. When I select it, I can start filling my slide. Everything I allowed earlier in the layout is possible here. When I'm done with the slide, I click on Save. We see that a suggestion for the title is already filled in here because we marked the area as a header earlier. But the title can still be changed here. To save, I now select Categories and Workspaces. If I still want to make changes, there is a shortcut to the template. Via the metadata, I will see which templates are used. And if I have the right to edit them, I can click directly on it and switch to the template. Now I can, for example, set the headline and the body text to centered. Then I click on Save, and the arrow in the upper left corner takes me back to the slide. The changes have already been applied. To update the preview image and any PDFs, we click on Save again. We have now gone through the basics of template creation. We created a new template set, created a background and a layout, and we used everything together for a new slide. The next videos will cover specific topics like overlays, animations, how to customize existing templates, or how to use CSS in presono.